Hello again, welcome back to my channel. I am Grace Annabelle. In today's video I'm coming up with my okra stew recipe. Right guys, so I'm going to show you how I prepared this delicious yummy okra stew. Okay, before we start, if you are new to my channel, hold the subscribe button right now. While you are at it, tap the bell so you do not miss an upload from me. All right guys, so let's get started. Here I have some mutton or goat meat which I have washed and cleaned nicely. Look at that, I've cleaned that. I've taken my time to clean it nicely. You can use any meat of your choice, okay? And on the other side, I have some salted mutton, which is the toolo beefy. I also have some crab here, which I have cleaned nicely, okay? And I also have some wele, which is cowhide. I've also cleaned that as well. Look at that, I've cleaned it nicely. Check the inside. Yes, I also have some onions here, 3 medium size, 4 cloves of garlic, a piece of ginger, 1 smoked mackerel, and I also have 1 onion diced, which I'll be using in steaming the meat. For spices, 1 tablespoon of rosemary, shrimp stock heap, 1 tablespoon aniseed, 1 tablespoon of egye. And on the other side, I have oil, palm oil, 1 onion diced, and 2 scotch bonnet peppers or habonero peppers, 1 onion, and 1 tin of tomato. That's the tin tomato, which is the peeled one. I will not be using the whole tin. I will divide it into 2 because Okro doesn't like a lot of tomatoes. All right, guys. Here I have some salted fish and 1 onion diced. I have my okra there, which I have sliced nicely. So you can slice the okra into any shape of your choice. This is how I want mine. I also have salt, petre, which is the kanwe or kanwe. All right, so that is going to make the okra to be slimy and drawy. Right, so in a pot I will add my okra, next my onions, and then I will add my salted fish, followed by the salt petre, which is the kanwe, and then add enough water to cook that. Okay, so I will leave that to cook for about 10 minutes and come back, check on it. So while my okra is on the fire, I will then come and work on my meat. Okay guys, so here I've put in my meat into the pot. I'm adding my diced onion to it. Next I will add my egye and then the shrimp stock cube. I'm not going to add the rosemary and the aniseed because I'll be blending that with my onions and then the ginger and garlic. Okay guys, and I am not adding salt to this because the salted meat or mutton has a lot of salt, and the salted fish also has a lot of salt. So whenever you are cooking with salted fish and salted meat, do not add salt. Okay, so yes, I'm not adding salt to this. I will then cover it and leave it to cook on a medium heat. Whilst my meat is on the fire boiling, I will then blend my onions, my ginger, my garlic, and then my rosemary and the aniseed. All right guys, so yeah, I'm going to blend that into a smooth paste and pour it on my meat. Always add enough water to blend your veggies or whatever you blend in. Okay, so at this point my beef has been on the fire simmering for 5 minutes. I'm adding my blended vegetables and spices. I will then give it a good stir and cover it to cook again for another 15 minutes. Right, so after 15 minutes, this is how my meat looks like. I'll check if it's cooked, okay, if it's soft and tender. It isn't, so I will cover it and leave it to cook for another 10 minutes. while this is cooking, I will go and check on my okra. So look at that, my okra is also boiling nicely. Okay, it looks soft and tender. So at this point, I will turn off the heat and leave it to rest. While my okra is resting, I will then blend my scotch bonnet pepper and the onions and tomatoes. Okay, this time we are preparing the stew for the okra. So in another clean pot, I will add my palm oil, leave it to melt and heat it up a little bit. Okay, now I can tell my oil is hot, so I'll add my diced onions to it and give it a good stir. I will leave the onions to cook or fry in the oil for about 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, I'll add my crab to the oil, the palm oil. So what I'm doing right now is I am infusing the flavors in the crab into the oil. So after 5 minutes of frying my crab in my palm oil, I will then get them out from the oil and set it aside. You know, I always say cooking is all about infusion of flavors. Yeah. At this point, I'm getting the crab out from the palm oil. Right, so I will set this aside and then work on my stew. At this point, I'm going to add my blended up veggies into my palm oil, give it a good stir, and leave it to cook for 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, I will then add my salted mutton, yes, which is the toolo beef. Give it a good stir. Leave this to cook for 3 minutes. And then add my wele, which is the cow hide. At this point, I'm adding my cow hide to the salted mutton, which is the toolo beef. Right, so after giving it a good stir, I will then cover it and leave it to cook for 10 minutes. Right, after 10 minutes, this is how my stew is looking at. Wow, it's really cooking nicely. So I'm checking if the salted beef is soft and tender. So it's okay. So at this point, I'm going to add all the meats and then the crab as well and give it a good stir. Cover it and leave it to cook for about 10 minutes. Now I'm adding my beef stock. So this is the stock from the meat that I cooked, or the mutton. Do not forget, okay, to keep that. Do not throw it away. Keep it, for we need that flavor in the stew. Right, so I'll cover this and leave it to cook for another 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, my stew is cooking nicely. Yes, look at that. It looks so beautiful. Right, so at this point, my stew is cooked, so I will add my smoked mackerel to it. Do not add the smoked mackerel early, okay? If not, it will overcook and it will turn into pieces. Here, my here is my okra. It's cooked and it's very drawy and slimy. That's how I like my okra. So now everything is cooked, so I'll add the okra to the stew, give it a good stir, and leave it on a low heat to simmer for 5 minutes. This time we don't need high or medium heat. We need the low heat, the lowest, okay, heat, because everything is cooked now. So we are just so everything is cooked now, so we don't need much heat. Okay, so yes, at this point I'm going to taste for salt. All right, so even though I didn't add salt, the salt is enough. I don't need any more salt. Like I said earlier, salted fish and salted beef has a lot of salt. They contain high salt, so when cooking with them, always taste first before adding sauce to it. Okay, so now my okra stew is ready, and I'm going to pair it with bangkun. Guys, it's so easy and simple to make. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in my next one. Bye.